Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Michael Maney begins now.
Good evening everyone. Highways and homes have dominated day 25 of the state election campaign. The Liberals hoping to drive extra funding into northern Tasmania's roads, also pressuring the Commonwealth to help fund an old election commitment. Labor meanwhile offered land tax relief for future build-to-rent housing developments.
Looking to smooth their road into power and northern Tasmania's highways. Road upgrades the Liberals' pledge of the day.
With a view to safety, to dealing with congestion and of course to employ the women and men of this industry.
Confidence going forward to invest in new people, invest in training and developing existing people, and investing in equipment.
Among their plans, $20 million to fully duplicate the Bass Highway from Launceston to Deloraine, $40 million for the same highway west of Wynyard, and another $10 million for the Murchison and Zeehan highways. Their long-proposed Tamar Bridge also on the agenda.
We've placed a business case now with the Australian Government through their agency Infrastructure Australia.
Labor claims that commitment is a bridge too far, saying it's an idea 3 elections old.
Tasmanians after 10 years of the Liberal Party can see very clearly in this announcement that they're probably never going to get this bridge built under Michael Ferguson.
Like the Bridgewater Bridge, we'll build the Tamar Crossing as well.
Labor talked housing again. It's now offering a 100% land tax cut for developers of build-to-rent properties who commit to renting at least 20% below the market rate.
We want to see more rental properties available in Tasmania and to see many of those available at affordable rents.
Developers and renters united in support.
Exploring and pursuing opportunities with build-to-rent developments is as close to a silver bullet solution as we can get.
And having my own space, it's really nice, and I'd like that for my friends as well.
The Liberals not as convinced.
No doubt tries to catch up to where we are with our very strong plan to support Tasmanians.
Both leaders also clashed on new drought assistance for Flinders Island farmers. Rebecca White slammed the timing of the announcement, saying they needed help weeks ago.
I think it's a complete disgrace. It's a breach of the caretaker conventions as far as I can see. And if these communities need help, they should be given it, instead of the Premier needing to show up in person.
Beck White has asked for a briefing today. I'll tell you what, the best briefing you can get is actually visiting the island.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, the Greens want to see trams on Tasmania's unused tracks. Fed up with traffic congestion and a poor public transport system, the party is committing $75 million to building light rail in Hobart's north if elected.
The $75 million is looking at finding solutions. It's looking at the engineering solutions that need to be done. It's looking at where the best stops are meant to go.
Jeremy Rockcliffe says the key to public transport is consistency, frequency and reliability, all of which Busway will have. Finding a rental property in Australia is becoming more difficult and Tasmania is not immune. PropTrack's rental index revealing that renters in Tasmania, New South Wales and Queensland face the worst affordability. Low and middle income households are facing the toughest conditions, with the cost of renting a place to live at its worst level in at least 17 years. Rents nationally are up 38% since the COVID pandemic. A cable damage during roadworks was responsible for a disruption to Telstra mobile, landline and home internet services in the northeast of Tasmania. Technicians working through most of the day to get connections back online. A Telstra spokesperson says services were restored this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Despite today's heat, a group of walkers set out on a 100-kilometre journey to raise awareness about mental health issues affecting Australian Defence Force personnel. Funds raised will be donated to Soldier On, a not-for-profit organisation empowering serving and former ADF officers.
Soldiering on in the heat to shine a spotlight on mental health. The long patrol team walking to highlight traumatic situations Australian Defence Force members and first responders can go through.
People like police, ambulance, firefighters and correctional officers see some horrific scenes as part of their duties, and obviously ADF veterans see the atrocities of war and come home and have to deal with those issues.
For coordinator Oliver Breeze, it's personal. The loss of his mate to suicide still difficult to accept.
tragically lost a mate to veteran suicide 5 years ago. So since learning of that, I've run this walk every year. This is our 4th year, so it's 96 kilometres in 20 hours, and that's the length of the Kokoda track, which is why we step out and do it.
Ordinary civilians like Moana Ritchie also joining current and former ADF personnel participating in the walk.
I just think it's a good opportunity to give back to veterans who've, given their all for our country. Good opportunity to give a bit of sacrifice in response to that.
The long patrol walk to Deloraine and back expected to conclude around 9 a.m. tomorrow at Launceston RSL. Already $5,000 has been raised, with organisers hoping to break last year's record of $22,000. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
And if this story has caused you distress, you can contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Hope is on the horizon for local athletes, with Labor committing millions of dollars to a new Olympic-size ice rink if elected. It comes nearly 2 years after Glenorchy's facility closed its doors. Tasmania now the only state in Australia without a permanent space to skate.
Emotional, and for good reason. Grace Holliday's figure skating career in jeopardy after Tasmania's only ice rink shut down in 2022.
I've lost some of my skills, and it means I can't progress in some of those skills as quickly as I want to because we don't have the facility here.
Around 200 athletes were using the Glenorchy rink each week before it closed, many now travelling interstate monthly to train.
I've been going to Melbourne a lot.
Others forced to quit.
There's a lot of people who have become less socially connected, less physically active, and they're really experiencing emotional challenges.
Now, for the first time in nearly 2 years, a glimmer of hope. State Labor committing a capped $2 million towards the build of a new Olympic-size ice sports facility if elected.
A future Labor government will work with Ice Sports Tasmania and a private developer to activate a $6 to $8 million project to establish an ice rink here in the northern suburbs.
I want to compete in the Olympics, and this would be a dream come true to get a rink here.
Proposing an air dome structure, the project is subject to the government's feasibility work currently underway. Liberal sports spokesperson Nick Street says the results will determine the best next steps, and though committed to the sector, won't preempt the outcome of that study. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Sailors aboard the Royal Australian Navy's HMAS Hobart warship have disembarked. The 200-strong crew marching along the waterfront in a freedom of entry parade. Spectators coming out to celebrate the relationship between the vessel and its namesake city. The tradition dates back to medieval times and is the highest accolade a town can award a military unit as a mark of respect. Jack Jumpers coach Scott Roth says his side needs to be better at the little things after last night's narrow 89-81 loss to Perth. Tasmania must now win at home on Monday to keep their grand final dreams alive, with the coach lamenting their last 5 minutes.
A night that came down to the final few moments. For Scott Roth, that was where it was won and lost.
We just didn't make enough plays and energy plays that they made, obviously turned the tide, and a few box outs, a few poor possessions offensively, and that's enough in the playoffs.
An early fourth quarter lead ended up as an 8-point defeat. A star player admits they left scores on the court.
Just got to make some shots. 4 of 16, can't win like that. The team got us where we wanted to be. Just got to finish the game.
From the get-go, it was a tight and physical contest.
Down under the arms of Magnate. Presence of Saab was enough to make things difficult. Crawford on the move, off the glass, scores.
Perth leading at half-time, as Keanu Pinder proved to be a handful. The Jackies, though, were going toe-to-toe with the home side.
And McDonald with 1 on the clock. Sean McDonald. It's tough.
With the win there to be taken in the final term, Tasmania made a play. Jack McVeigh and Marcus Lee getting off to a fast start.
Inflow to Lee. 2 more. Timeout, Perth. 10 unanswered unanswered points to start the fourth.
The wily Wildcats took control from the timeout. Keanu Pinder's 5 3-pointers sinking the Jackies. Ty Webster also lethal.
Webster must shoot. Does shoot.
Will Magnay didn't finish the game due to a foot concern. The Jack Jumpers back on the finals tightrope on Monday night.
Again, we've been down this road the last 2 years in the same exact scenario, and we get to go home. If we lose, we go home. It's real simple.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. It was another warm and dry day across the state, with temperatures well above the March average. The state's top recorded at King Island and Ouse with 34 degrees. Hobart not far behind with 33, Launceston 27, 23 for Devonport, Burnie 22. Strawn and Grove 33 degrees, Flinders Island 29, Luncheon Hill 28. Friendly Beaches 27, Maria Island 26, a little cooler in Low Head and St Helens 22, Lyowini 21 degrees. Decreasing amounts of low-level cloud was seen about the north today with sunny skies elsewhere. A mid to high-level cloud band sits over southeastern WA. Thunderstorm activity persists over parts of the north. Tomorrow, a cold front will brush the state as a high approaches New Zealand, and that'll extend a ridge across eastern states. Northwest to southwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, with winds reaching up to 30 knots at times, particularly about the south. Southwesterly spells building up to 5 metres in the west and 6 metres in the south. A strong wind warning has been issued between St Helens Point to Low Rocky Point. Tomorrow, a chance of rain in the south, Hobart 25, Richmond 27, 28 the top for Ouse. Cloud increasing in Launceston, although remaining warm, 33. Partly cloudy in Devonport 28, possible showers for Deloraine 31. Partly cloudy in Burnie 27, showers for Strawn 21, 24 and partly cloudy in Curry. Becoming cloudy in St Helens 31, a shower or 2 in Swansea 28's the maximum, 1 up in Whitemark with 29. Monday is, of course, a public holiday across the state. Now we can expect morning showers contracting to the far south during the day. Tuesday, showers about the west and south extending to the north during the morning before clearing from the west and south in the afternoon. Wednesday, showers about the north, otherwise fine elsewhere. 29 for Perth, Sydney and Brisbane tomorrow. The mercury likely to climb in Adelaide with 39 degrees also. And Melbourne, showers and possible storms in Darwin. Absolutely beautiful evening here across the state. Hobart 31, Launceston 26 and 21 in Devonport. Those dry conditions continue, Michael, in the 7 hours to 4 p.m. Only 1 millimetre in the gauge at St Helens, Mount Barrow and Grey. We could certainly do with some more rain.
No doubt about that, Kai. It can come at Tuesday 6 a.m. if you like. Well, that is all your news for now. On behalf of all the team here at 7, have a great evening. Good night.